So I am Sarah Stork, Smart Education Solutions Consultant based here in Pennsylvania. I was an educator for many, many years. I was an elementary classroom teacher. I've been with Smart for over 6 years in the professional development space and then in my current role as well. So really excited to meet you all today and happy to talk and chat and discuss after the session as well. So again, we're going to take a look at some of the interaction and ability to collaborate utilizing SMART. We'll take a look at our current SMART lineup. We have our entire lineup over in the main building area down in the Innovation Center. So if something kind of piques your interest during the session today, please feel free to stop by and then you can have a moment to get your hands on our new lineup as well. And then we also have lots of support and professional development and that we can take a peek at as well. You know, we certainly believe in supporting your technology, you know, throughout your use of it. So with SMART, we really our emphasis is really making class time quality time, and just things like, again, that student engagement and collaboration piece, just being able to walk up and to encourage students to be working together in an engaging way. And then that natural and meaningful interaction. So again, that ability for students to really deepen their understanding of learning and having the tool like a smart interactive display really facilitate that classroom learning process. Lots of built-in education content, right out of the box within the smart display. And then also just that big emphasis too on simple workflow. So you're going to see, I'm really excited to show you what we have to offer again in our current lineup, just ways to really help with those simple workflows. And then if you're coming from the perspective of the more of the management of the technology side, right? We really want to focus on supporting your investment over time. So things like commitment to privacy and security, details just built into the board that are really going to make that difference for you, and then giving you that opportunity to save time as you're managing the displays. Now, the kind of thought process there of being able to, use all your technology together, use those applications and software and hardware that teachers and students have. We know you've invested in things like student devices, teacher devices. So how do those all work together really seamlessly? And then again, to maximize that instructional time. So just a quick peek here, again, at our current displays. So we have our MX display. Again, feel free to hop on over to the Innovation Center and to take a look. But just high level here, what are some of the things within the MX display that's really going to provide all those tools that teachers and students need in the classroom? So one of the big things is that our MX V5 is Google Mobile Services certified. So what does that mean? So what I'm going to show you today is the ability to utilize Google tools, things like a full Chrome browser, being able to access the Play Store, again, adding those applications that teachers are using every day. And then also including things like 20 points of touch, simultaneous tools, so you have multiple students working at the board. Again, with also the thought process of things like security as you're using the built-in iCUE Android 13. So it's really going to give you that security and that peace of mind with automatic over-the-air updates as well. So again, supporting your deployment past day one. We also have our RX display, which also offers some enhanced tools and ways for students to interact. Things like, again, it does have that Google Mobile Services certification, so teachers can access things like the apps in the browser and whatnot. But the RX display is also going to provide a multicolor stylus. So what teachers can do is pick up that pen, and what students can do, they choose their color right on the pen, walk up to the board, and start working and writing on the panel. Again, saving time, right? Making that class time quality time. That pen there, it always reminds me of do you remember those pens that had the blue on the bottom and the white on the top, and you could, select your color and then start writing? Back in the day there, very similar thought process. Pick up your pen, pick your color, and go, right? Because even taking those moments to maybe find a tool or, on the display, nope, we want students to be able to just walk up and get going right away. Up to 40 points of touch, and also an enhanced microphone array. So again, things like that voice recognition, or being able to utilize the microphone to, say, make a screen recording, or do a quick search in Google, right? We know our students are coming in with a variety of different abilities. How can we enhance that? So it's really that thought process there. All right, any quick questions there before I continue on? All right, happy to provide some additional details with either one of those panels. Again, with the MX V5 and the RX display, it will have the Google certified Google Mobile Services experience. Now, you may be hearing a lot about this if you are looking at different solutions when it comes to interactive flat panels. However, SMART really has enhanced this experience to make it extra secure for teachers. Again, that ease of use thought process. So what is included is the multi-user Android experience. So what does that all mean? So think about if you had your phone on the wall in the classroom, you're signed into your phone, you have things like Google Drive or OneDrive, your email, and you leave it sitting in the classroom, or you leave it here and you walked away. Well, someone could pick that up and have access to what you are working on. So what you are able to do with this display, so let me just head on here so I can show you. Teachers are able to walk into the classroom and sign in, and it's a very simple sign-in for them. They can scan a QR code. They can use Google or Microsoft. It's a single sign-on for them. They do not need to remember another password that they have to call the help desk for. But they easily can sign in. So today I walked in, signed in. I could access my Google Drive. I could access my OneDrive. I had all of my files. And as soon as I leave today, I'm going to tap here. I'm going to sign out. And then no one has access to my files. There's no lingering account information that someone can walk up and use. So that is that ability to walk up, sign into the panel, and just access all of those classroom materials. For the MX display and the RX display, it will also have an NFC card reader as well, so teachers can walk up, use their card, and then sign into the panel. So there's multiple ways for teachers to sign in. Again, just ease of use for teachers. I was an educator. I was, I'm thinking about teaching first grade. I'm going to walk in. I need to just access my lesson. I do not have time. And my 21st graders, 31st graders don't have time to wait for me to be, signing in or finding, different applications and things like that. I have all of my custom apps right here. Things like my Google apps, just right here on the panel. I have my Microsoft apps, whichever your teachers are using or whatever, you are choosing to use within your ecosystem. And then maybe I have a learning management system too. So maybe I'm using something like Google Classroom, Canvas, Schoology. Because I have access to the Play Store here, I can add those apps. I can customize what I need for my students. And then we can just have this just ready to go, walk up and use. Now, again, we think about that security piece too, right? So you're thinking, do I want my teachers to have access to the Play Store? So you have the ability to utilize our device management. So we call it our smart remote management. So remotely, you can have your panels enrolled. You can choose maybe to disable the Play Store. Maybe you want to push out apps. Maybe you have specific apps that you want teachers to have available in their apps locker, their app store right here. You easily can do that and manage it from that perspective. So happy to chat about that a little bit more too. If that's kind of piquing your interest and you'd like to learn more, we can certainly chat more about that. So any quick questions there before we keep, yeah? Yep. So when the next teacher signs in, they will not have access to the other teacher's data.
But if the first teacher signs back in later, are all their absence items still there?
Yes. Yep. So it's really nicely if you do have a co-teaching situation, or if teachers are sharing a room, or maybe you have a flex space with a board and teachers can come in and use that. They can just come in, sign in. When they're done, sign out, and they can come back and access what they need.
Was that display off of your laptop or off of the Android-based system that you were just on?
Great. Everything I'm doing is just the built-in Android, the IQ system. Yep. I have this open, but I'm not using it right now.
How many users can go on this ecosystem? Because I'm in higher ed, and there's probably about 50 teachers that use the education classrooms. How many users can be added to these groups?
Yep, so one teacher will sign in at a time, but there's really no limit on how many can. So, if you have 50 educators that are coming in, they can just come in, sign in, get what they need, and then teach the class.
So it's cloud-based on the, so there's no it's not locally stored.
So on the panel specifically, they're going to come in and they're going to sign in and then access and then get their app set up on this panel. But then when they sign out, then like we said, no one's going to have access to that. Yeah.
Follow up with that. So if you've got these installed in multiple classrooms, so you'd have to set up a profile on every board, or when you sign in,
You have to go to the next
right.
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. So currently the experience is you're going to go to that panel and you're going to set up what you need. There is work in the future roadmap to make that a little bit easier of a workflow.
So it's really geared more towards, K through 12, or a user using a specific classroom frequently, versus being able to move to different rooms.
Yeah, because I would be interested in a higher education standpoint. I would be interested in having that ability in each room that a teacher would go to, because then I
Right.
could deploy it all across campus. Because then, no matter where the teacher goes, they have their apps. That's where my struggle is. Teachers are going in, logging into everything, and then they're calling me because they can't log into everything. So
Yeah.
this sounds great, but I would like to see it be deployable through many different screens.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. And let's have a conversation after this session too. Would love to dive into that a little bit more because we have Rick back here, who's the director of our pod. We're always communicating with our product managers about those workflows and things. The other thing I'll say, with that smart remote management, because you can push out apps. Now, granted, in the higher ed setting, each educator or each instructor might have something very specific, but if you know, these are the list of things that they would need, then that is something maybe you could push those out to the board so that they can come in here and find what they need on that board. And I know we've moved to a lot of things, cloud-based like Google Drive, OneDrive, and so all of that they can just access right here as well. So if they do have things like their PowerPoints or their slides, they can just sign in and open up their drive and access those. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, so with my organization, we're a little different. We're workforce, but we are county government. Does these smart boards allow VPN connection?
Let's get some clarification on that. Yeah, we can talk a little bit more about that and just make sure that it works with the VPN and your environment. Yeah.
I think the short answer is yes.
Yeah.
If you sign in via a VPN app that's available on the Google App Store, then no problem whatsoever. If it's a sign in through a browser, that should also be relatively easy because you're just opening a Chrome browser and you're signing in, and then you're locked into that VPN tunnel.
Okay, because we have instructors, but of course, if they are performing any type of using the internet or whatnot, if they are connected to our county Wi-Fi, it does require, or any type of, if it's outside of the county Wi-Fi, it does require a VPN connection if they're trying to log
Gotcha.
Do you know if they do that via an app that's on their PCs today, or is it via like a web login?
No, it's not an app. It's everything is like tied to a VPN connection.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, let's dive into that and maybe have a chat after this. Yep. All right, so amazing questions. Thank you all. Just really appreciate that conversation and kind of chatting through, the workflow. Other things that are available, again, to really utilize what you have in your ecosystem, hardware-wise, right? So the boards do have wireless screen sharing called Smart Mirror. It's a very flexible tool. So no matter which devices your instructors are using, your teachers are using, your students are using, whether those are tablets, iPads, PC or Mac computers, phones, things like that, it will allow you to share using, say, AirPlay, Google Cast, Miracast, but it is also app-based. So they could use, if they're using, say, their Windows or their Mac computer, and they download the Smart Mirror app, they will have touchback capability. So think about that. I have my desk in the back of the classroom, but all of a sudden, I need to show something up on the screen, and I need to be able to walk around. Great. Use Smart Mirror, share my screen, all my students can see, and then even I love to use this with students as well. If they're doing research, they're creating something, they have their project, they're creating a Google Slides presentation, great. Then I want my students to share up to the screen. So there's also browser-based, which the key there is it is cloud-based, it's a browser-based Smart Mirror share, and you do not need to be on the same network. So I know we have very specific network setups no matter what, where your institution is or your school or other environments. And so maybe you're going to have the Smart Panel on one network, but you have a BYOD network. And when students come with their devices, that's okay. I mean, I've had colleagues in Texas share through Smart Mirror up to a smart board, up here in PA, because they are able to use the different networks. So if I just open this up here real quick and just to kind of give you a sneak peek at Smart Mirror, I'll come out here. So we have my Smart Mirror app just right on the board. All right, let me start a new session here real quick. So what I'm going to be able to do is, again, I can go to a web address, smartmirror.link. One more quick session here. And then, or I can use the app. So now this is when I might use this PC computer, right? I'm not using the cord connection. But what I can do is put in the ID that is right on the screen, and then I can share from this device. And again, if I am using that app, I will get that touchback interaction, which is going to allow me to just be flexible as an instructor. Now, I've turned on something called moderator mode because, sometimes we know we have creative friends in our classroom environment or wherever we're working. So as a teacher, I am going to control who's sharing to the board. So it does have that management piece built in. I can invite myself to present here. I can share my screen from my device. And I'll just grab the whole screen here. Great. And you can choose what you share. I can share a window, I can share the screen, and then you can see I am just wirelessly sharing to the board. I can then, demonstrate the lesson. I can teach and be flexible and walk around the room, or again, I can have students share because, I really want to think about that student-led learning piece. So I want students to share what they're working on, explain their thinking, and all of that. I also have a grid view, so I can show up to 4 participants at a time, which again, maybe I have students working in small collaborative groups. So then we can have, the leader of the group share up to the board, and I can have that, just really embedded into my instruction.
Also, just a general question, which is still related to this. How are you mirroring?
Yep, so there is HDMI out or USB-C out on our latest displays, and so you're able to connect.
Could you daisy chain that to even more screens? Like 3 or 4?
We'd have to, because that one has an out. I know these are great questions.
That is a use, like, you want to be able to use it. Like, I just did a classroom, and it was not with the smart boards, but we had 3 interactive displays, and we could set them up as individual workstations, or combine them and have one display serve as the master and push out to the other 2 without needing to use a switching system, which was unique. And if this capability was built into that, that would be pretty neat.
Now, I will say, it's just an additional little nugget of information here for everyone. There is an update coming very soon, which will allow the smart mirror that we were just using to broadcast. So then you'll have the ability to take what's on the screen and broadcast that to another device. So you wouldn't even need to necessarily have a wired connection. That's coming soon, not quite live here on this version, but that will be coming soon. Yep. Yeah, no, we're getting some really great ideas today. This is great. So just a quick kind of loop back to what we were talking about before. You know, as an educator, I'm going to sign into the panel, and, you know, I might be a Google user. I can access things like my Chrome bookmarks because it's a full Chrome browser. I can access my Google Drive. Google Slides. I talk to so many educators who are using things like Google Slides or PowerPoints. Great. Sign in, access your drive, pull up your lessons. And you can see I was just able to pick up the pen, start writing right on the screen. So I don't even need to really think about that, right? I can just walk up and use. It's that ease of use experience for teachers, which we know teachers are coming in with just a variety of different, you know, tech abilities, right, and comfort level. And the less taps and swipes that we have to do, the better, right? Even I'm in a browser. I have my, you know, website pulled up I might be using with students, and you can see I'm just going to pick up my pen and I'm going to get started right away. And then also, this page will stay interactive for me. So I can then start moving and selecting you know, what I need on the website. And again, if I have students working at the board and somebody wrote on the web page, well, we don't need to worry about having to stop the show. They can just keep going, right? And students can keep collaborating together. And then I can save or discard that. So the last piece here, I think we're going to be hitting time here pretty soon. The last piece that I really want to demonstrate as well for you is that, again, I'm able to access something like my Google Drive just really, really easily. And what I can do is say I have my Google Slides, I can open with my whiteboard. So I can easily send my Google Slides to the whiteboard, which again, thinking about that ease of use for teachers and being able to take my lessons and just open them up and rock and roll. Have my students come to the board, collaborating, working together, and annotating, interacting, all of those. So now we are in the whiteboard experience. Just real quick, let me grab this. So I'm in that whiteboard experience, and what I have is the ability to pull up things like my objectives and all of my student materials here. And like we said, we can have students come and work at the board just really nicely. Would anyone like to come join me up here? I have a few pens to hand out here. If anyone would like to come on up, stretch your legs.
Should try it.
All right, Tracy, you gonna help me out? So another thing that really makes Smart unique, get my words there correctly, is the ability for multiple people to be working at the board at once. So simultaneous tool differentiation. So if Tracy and I come up to the board and we're talking, okay, well, winter is cold, maybe summer's my favorite, and we can be working all at the same time. I can be moving things around as she's writing on the board. We can be erasing, and we can just work together really nicely there at the panel. And I don't need to say, hey, Tracy, stop for a second. I want to write my notes. Nope, we can just be working together, and there's that collaboration piece and that interaction piece, just really, really easily and seamless for students and teachers. So thank you, Tracy.
That may seem like something that's very intuitive, but of course you're gonna be able to do that. Do you know SMART's the only IFP manufacturer that enables that kind of simultaneous tool differentiation? It's very difficult for other just saying, for other manufacturers' products to do anything like that, but it's amazing how when students realize and are able to do things at the same time, math problems together, it makes learning a lot easier.
Thanks, Rick. Awesome. No, love it. And just a couple more quick things here in the whiteboard, just high level, that really make the SMART whiteboard level up that interaction piece in the classroom and student engagement. We have things like easy access to pens, and which, you know, you're going to see that on a lot of your panels, right? But you can add quick content as well. So maybe I need a visual for my students. You know, maybe I want a picture of snow here. Not that we want to think about snow right now, but this is doing a quick safe search, and I'm able just to easily add those images into the whiteboard for my students. I can also add videos, and those will come in ad-free without the commercials and the comments and all the other things. So again, really making that class time quality time. I know it's distracting when you have all those other, you know, comments, things like that. It really takes the students out of, you know, what they're working on. And then the built-in educational content. So things like graphic organizers, but also digital manipulatives. So maybe we are working on something like fractions. There we go. Couple of taps there, and I have a center activity. I have, you know, a modeling opportunity if we're working on different topics. And then also I can add things like exit tickets or collaboration opportunities. I can connect my students' devices directly to my whiteboard. So if you were connected to my class before, or if you wanted to scan this now and take a look, you're going to be able to see what I have on teaching here on my whiteboard. That's going to push out to your device. So think about all of our learners in the classroom, and even just the setup of the room, right? If they had a Chromebook, an iPad, a device at their desk, and they can easily see what I'm working on and modeling, well, now I've just engaged my students. Or maybe I have a student that, you know, just really benefits from having that visual, and I know that student is going to need this support. So I can start this session just really easily. I can push this out to your devices, and then you can see that there's also opportunities for students to collaborate as well. So I'm just going to put a blank page in here real quick. Once I have that, and I can tap over here, I can actually convert this into a whole class whiteboard, so then students can contribute to the board. I can see who's adding what. I can pause that as well. So that opportunity is available and just built right on in as well. All right. Yeah. So all you would do, you know, I just come in. I don't even need to sign into the board to do that. A class code will pop up for the board. But, you know, if I sign in, I use my Google or Microsoft account. I have my class ID. It's unique to me. And I can use that no matter which board I'm using. I can use it with all of my groups of students throughout the day. And all of that is saving so that I can go back and check my students' work later as well.
Another question, can your login cards be, say, programmed for like substitute teachers? So when they come into the class, like say we have one sub in grade 10 and multiple classes in that grade 10, she can go to each individual board to log in with that card and the substitute links will come up.
Yes, so one way to do that might be to, in your Google or Microsoft domain, create maybe a guest or a sub email for them, and then you could have something saved in that Google Drive or OneDrive, and they could sign in and access those. So maybe kind of like a generic one that they could use. Yep. Also, just a quick mention here, lots of great teacher tools in here. I mentioned the ability to record the screen. You have things like timers and spinners and dice, all those tools that teachers need just throughout the class day, again, to just help them effectively utilize the technology and have it just enhance what they're already doing, right? Again, just kind of looping this all back together for everyone. I know we're running a couple minutes over on time, so I appreciate your time this morning. But really, our goal at SMART is to really enhance and amplify quality teaching practices, and not necessarily for teachers to feel like, oh, we have an additional tool in the classroom, and now this is separate from what we're already doing. Right? It's just that thought process of bringing it all together and that ease of use. Now, just a quick mention here, if you do have smart displays already that have IQ, and you're seeing, oh, we're talking about adding the apps, we're talking about that Chrome browser, we do have an AM60 module, and we are actually, currently our setup right now, we are using panels that are maybe 8 years old, if not more. And we're utilizing that module and have that experience. So certainly happy to chat a little bit more about that. We also have our GX model as well. So if you're interested in learning more about that display. And then for professional development, again, that really is my, focus always is helping teachers just effectively utilize the technology. So we have our Getting Started guides, our Smart Academy, Lumio Academy, and this is self-paced coursework for teachers to really learn more, and it's really instructionally focused for them. So that they can just immediately start implementing some of those ideas. Mentioned earlier, the ability to remotely manage the panels through Smart Remote Management. Again, that thought process of, the other side of things, right? We've been talking a bit about instruction right now, but I know that back-end management of devices is very important. So really, really happy, again, to have you all here for our session. Thank you for sticking with me for a few extra minutes. Happy to answer any questions before our next session starts. We have our software session, our Lumio session starting, I think, in just a few minutes here as well. Or happy to see you over at the Innovation Center. We can dive a little bit more. But thank you all for your time.